Good evening and welcome to Nightfall in Amsterdam. Tonight we are joining our werewolves as word has been passed around that there is a gathering at the local sept. And while none of them are very prominent or active at the sept, there are some gatherings that you just don't miss. It's been whispered that tonight some of the leaders of the sept intend to establish policies and objectives and get the point the sept in a new and, in theory, more successful direction. It's also said that there will be some specific announcements and individuals recognized or honored while there as well. The excuse me. The sept, for those who are not as well familiar, is located in the Amsterdam forest, which is, while within the city, fairly wild. So we will join our werewolves as they approach the forest. Set up much like a park, there are pathways, even driveways in some places. And of course, the easiest way to approach is along the city streets. As you begin to approach, you'll find that there are many other guru coming from the area, and even kinfolk from the apartments that sit along the edge of the forest. That I will turn it over to you guys. Introduce yourselves.
Abby's walking in. She has her headphones in, her little earbuds, and music's playing. It's not overly loud. You have to be fairly close if you to hear it off of her. But she's just kind of watching where she's going and occasionally glancing down at the phone in her hand.
She comes in. She's kind of just like glancing around, watching everybody and listening carefully to anything going on around her, maybe other people talking, whatever. She's very watchful, like in this particular space here. And when she sees Abby, she'll just walk up and give her a tap on the shoulder and smile at her and give her a thumbs up.
Abby will glance over her shoulder and give her a little nod and a smile.
Khan will be walking down the path, pushing a cart with two kegs on it. He's just kind of looking around. Seems very happy and outgoing. He's about 5'11", 170 pounds. Long black hair and a ponytail. Various tattoos. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Sorry, I'm back. Just wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Just keeping an eye out while he walks.
Era's gonna motion to the kegs and look at Abby. I think someone's thirsty.
It's a standing order anytime I come to the Sept.
You notice that while you guys are talking, Abby seems to be looking down at her phone more than she's looking at you two talking.
Usually they crack them open at the end. It's the new summer brew.
Summer brew, huh? What makes it a summer brew?
Well, this is a pale ale. It's lighter, more refreshing.
Well, I look forward to sampling it.
I hope you do more than sample it. Does anyone happen to know what this?
Errol, give him a nod. Hard to. I guess we'll find out when they decide to get things up and running.
I guess we'll have to wait and see then.
Yeah.
Abby extends her hand towards this fellow. Bonjour, monsieur. My name is Abby Trudeau. You are...
I'll shake the hand. I'm calling, hollering. I'm not even gonna try for an Irish accent. I'm sorry.
You notice as soon as she finishes talking and you start talking, she looks down at her phone.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Air Sigurdsson. She reaches out a hand.
I'll shake your hand as well. Nice to meet you both.
It is a pleasure, monsieur.
Air will give him a nod, but she kind of keeps looking around. Like she's. It might seem like she's a little on edge, but just because she's looking around so much. But
Oh, we heard from our friend, madame, our dear friend in the, the place with the family.
not yet. Expect we soon.
And as you guys continue deeper, here you would recognize this gentleman as he walks in as well. You've encountered Connor at the Irish pub some days past. He kind of gives you a nod and starts to.
Connor a friendly nod when she sees him.
He kind of starts not directly approaching you, but angles his path so he ends up near you.
Welcome.
Yeah. I'm not sure I will be, but I'm here.
You'll be as welcome as I am. She chuckles.
He says, yes, I gathered that. It seems to me that perhaps both of us are in a place we don't belong.
I wouldn't say that I don't belong here. It's rather that they don't. She half smirks. I refuse to be bullied.
He nods and says, well, perhaps there's a better place for us to be tonight.
Well, I can think of some places that I'd rather be, but
He leans over a little closer and says, that's always true. The key is there's not necessarily a reason to be here.
she raises an eyebrow.
He kind of gestures and he says, you and I both already know what this conversation is going to entail.
I'm sure we do. But I kind of want to hear it from the source's mouth.
Abby just raises an eyebrow. It stays quiet.
Adamant about trying to keep things quiet. Well, let's hear it.
He chuckles and says, don't you listen to the rumors?
Well, I do, but you know how things along from one person trying to get discombobulated? Rumors aren't always reliable.
He chuckles and says, no, sometimes you need to have a sly friend who can listen.
That's true.
And he gestures over, and another man walks out of the comes out of the woods onto the path. The other one looks at him and says, are these the ones you were looking for, Connor? Connor looks at you and says, I guess that's up to them. He holds out a hand and he says, the name is Vano.
She takes his hand and shakes it. Herr Sigurdsson.
He takes your hand briefly and he says, well, are we going to dawdle here all night? bad enough we've had to come here, Connor, but shouldn't we be going before they get good and riled up? We do have things to attend to ourselves. Connor looks at you, then he looks at Vano and he says, well, it seems not everyone knows the details of the
And you're just kind of nuts.
rumor mill.
If it is not posted online, I am often very well out of the loop for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody tells me anything either.
Vano
I
leans
think
in
this
and
is
he's
something they would be passing along.
Vano leans in and he says, well, the key is that the rumors are all politics. All of this is politics. See, they call what they're having in there a moot or a meat or... But the truth is, they're in there to play favorites, promote their friends. He leans in and he says, it's fairly simple. You see, their rights master, the tribe mate of good Connor here, wasn't able to locate Connor or some other kin in the city who are unannounced, but have good background in breeding, if you will. So, the Alpha must make an example. Demean his rights master. Criticize him for failure. And of course, while he's there, he must play some favorites. You know, pick a couple of pets to prop himself up. And of course, the Get have not been well off in the cairn here for many generations, but this Magnuson fellow, well, he knows how to make a name for himself, and he knows how to play the politics, so he gets himself a little boost, a little thank you, and props and rewards from the Alpha, who uses it as a backhanded way to criticize the other Get. Why can't you be more like Magnuson? Look at all the things he's done. then he kind of steps up. He says, so yes, by all means, if you feel like going in there to be backhandedly insulted, to watch an alpha spit on those who are supposed to be his allies, have at it. And then he turns and he says,
I would be the one they'd directly go for.
but Connor and myself, as well as a couple of other like-minded folk that maybe have seen which way the alpha's personality trends, will be elsewhere. See, Connor's not announced here for a reason, nor am I.
And that reason being?
He looks and he says, simple. This isn't our sept.
That'll do it.
Then he turns and as he walks away and he says, and I don't think this one would accept a fox as well either.
You're
See,
likely correct.
Our sept is a little more about cooperation, not about shitting where you hunt.
At the mention of not accepting a fox, Abby kind of freezes up for a moment.
Y'all right there? You look like you've seen a ghost.
No, I am just fine, merci. And Abby's gonna kind of pick up her pace a little bit. No, actually, she's gonna slow down.
You know, he's right. I already know what they're gonna say. See, they kind of took this place from my family, and they're gonna shit all over me as much as they can. And my family.
And this is why I stay in my bar and don't play politics.
Then we need to, how do you say, do better than they can. This way that the spirits on the Garou know that you are not to be spit upon. Oui?
Well, some of the spirits would. Others perhaps not. Some spirits are friends, some are foe.
Oui, but becoming eligible to move up beyond where you start, the spirits must acknowledge you. That is what the right of. She snaps her fingers trying to think of the word.
Passage?
Ugh.
No.
No.
Accomplishment?
Oui,
Yes.
accomplishment. You are asking the spirits if you have truthfully earned the renown, the being known to them necessary to acknowledge your place on the next step along the path. Oui?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So do what you must, and if the spirits find you worthy, they may make the mortals can make it difficult, but it is still not their place to stop you.
Of, looks up ahead of them at, I'm assuming, the crowd gathering for this moot.
You can kind of
And
see them through the trees and stuff. Yeah.
then she looks back at Abby.
Do you want to go get a beer?
You, Steve, our friend here, said he doesn't tap those until it's over.
Yeah, they don't let them be tapped until it's done. It's awakened.
It's awakened.
Yeah. I only bring the good stuff to the moods.
Connor kind of chuckles and he says, "See, we don't have any such regulations. Our gatherings are much less formalized."
And what would happen, Monsieur, if one of these barrels fell off and disappeared?
I would probably get in trouble for only bringing one.
I will give you $200 for the trouble. Oui?
No thanks. Not worth it.
I mean, you could always blame me. That would totally be worth it. I bet that would. I'm sure they'd love to just blame me for
I
something
just
else.
keep my head down and do what I'm asked. Not here to rock the boat.
Bummer. Because
Boats
it
always
sounds
need
like rocking
rocking.
the boat is what's needed here.
Boats must always be rocked, otherwise they are on dry land and useless. Do not be afraid of the wave.
I always leave that to other people.
She raises an eyebrow. And she kind of like leans forward, like closer to him, and kind of just looks him over a bit closer and inhales. She's trying to catch a sniff to see if there's any pure breed or anything. Hang up
Mm-mm.
his kegs. No pure breed.
No pure breed.
What tribe do you belong to?
Fiona.
With the barrels of alcohol, you really had to ask, Mademoiselle.
Fiona aren't the only ones who like to drink.
Oui, but the Fiona tend to be the ones to bring the alcohol because they want to get drunk beginning, middle, and the end.
They also enjoy making waves too.
Like I said, I leave that to the other people. I like to watch.
I see. She kind of glances at everybody else. Well, I may go with these guys, being as I already know what's going to go down here.
It is my job to make waves. Do you want me to leave a message for them?
Well, I'm gonna stay here and see what this is all about. It sounds like it should be interesting regardless.
We know on the message, Madame Mia.
I mean, if you really want to send them a message, you can tell them that I send my regards. That's
One
it.
moment. And she presses a few buttons on her phone. And she says, "Can you repeat that for me, please?"
No worries. You really don't have to. Sending my
Merci,
regards is no. It's but a simple greeting.
I will make sure that it
To
is
let them
properly
know
heard.
that I am not, they are not forgotten.
I will make sure that they get the message loud and clear.
She kind of half smirks and gives Abby a nod.
See, there's always plenty of people to make waves.
Oh,
I just
we
moved up here to make the entertainment when all the challenges go out.
It is my job to make the waves.
That it is. Back, guys.
And Abby's gonna pick up her pace and head over to the moot.
I'll also head over to the mood. I'll drop the kegs off where they tell me to and stand toward the back and watch.
All right. One second here.
If we're gonna basically get all the same information we just did, you can gloss over it, most of it, I think.
Wait just 1 second here. Grab one other here. So the opening is fairly elaborate. starts fairly typical opening howl. The opening howl kind of sets the tone, and it's rather harsh. Um, the 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 master of the howl, as well as some of the others, including the alpha, seem to almost have the gnashing fangs mixed in. This real guttural, aggressive howl. They move rather quickly throughout the rites. Despite the fact that this is a sept that's been traditionally get, most of the tribal spirits contacted during the inner sky rite, they're primarily Silverfang, Shadow Lord. Some of the lesser get spirits are called upon, as are the ancestor spirits of the Magnuson lineage as well. The sept progresses to the cracking of the bone, at which point the initial grievances are aired. First one, of course, being the alpha airing its grievance that his rites master failed to pursue the interests of the sept as laid out by the alpha. He's somewhat critical, and specifically feels that it was a matter of disrespect to him. The truth catcher doesn't have a good answer. He feels that while the grievance is true that the rites master failed, he does not feel that it was deliberate or that sort of thing. However, he does acknowledge that the failure did in fact occur, and some sort of penance must be paid, which seems to kind of cause the rites master to grind his teeth a bit. The second grievance aired is by a younger get who declares himself to be Magnuson. His grievance is against the sept as a whole, that the get have been mistreated and shunned, when in truth it was only one family who has continued generation after generation to shame the tribe. he mentions the things that he has done to attempt to bring honor to his tribe and to the people of the sept, and how he has tried to help the truth catcher hears his grievance and kind of ponders. I will need a perception empathy from both of you.
All right, let me see if I know the formula again.
Hashtag number of dice D10. Did I put a D10 or D6? I did a D10. Yeah. Hashtag number of dice D10 F6.
Hold on. D10 what?
F6.
F as in Frank?
Yep.
Yes. There, I typed it into the side chat if you need. If you can even see that on your phone.
I don't think
No,
the side chat shows up. If you start at the pound sign, then it's the number of dice you have in your pool. D10 because that's the size of your dice. And then F indicates the difficulty. So F6.
got it.
I have one
I
success.
came
He has zeros. He has
Yeah, I
zero.
came up with nothing.
All right. So, Eric, you don't notice anything. Abby, you pick up on the fact that the truth catcher seems to be kind of almost looking to the looking to the alpha on how he should respond here. The alpha nods, barely noticeable, and the truth catcher says, "Your perhaps your grievance has merit." Yeah, he says, "You, as the ranking guru of your family, will be recognized. It will be your place to earn merit, but you're right. The Get have not had opportunity to hold many positions of rank, especially those Get who have been local and ancestral." When he turns and he says, "On matters involving the Get locally, we will defer to Magnuson and his family as the best representative of the local Get." You guys kind of notice the tail singer seems to bristle a bit at that. She's a get, but not a local one. Yeah. Truth Catcher turns and says, "Is there any other grievances anyone wishes to air?"
Abby contemplates stepping forward and saying something. She's not sure if this is the right point for it, though. So she abstains for the moment.
Colin just looks around.
You'll notice that the primarily some of the Fianna and the tail singer, was again she is the foreign get, seems somewhat kind of reserved, reluctant to speak.
This is why they should serve the beer first.
The Truth Catcher just kind of nods and takes a seat. The tail singer stands and as she's it is up to her to decide which tales are shared as well. She begins telling tales of ancient Fianna, the High Kings, some of the ancient Get from further north. As she does, she kind of almost glares at the alpha, kind of daring him to object. And while he doesn't, he seems to almost get anxious, as if he's ready to get, to be done with this. And finally, he kind of doesn't necessarily cut her off, but as she finishes a tale, he moves just enough to that the wormful steps forward, and he's obviously been anxious to act as well. He's a known even to those new to the sept, known as a because he is a red talon born under the full moon, and he begins almost immediately to push the revel. Starting with a long and rather aggressive howl. And as many of the group begin to kind of wrestle and displays their strength, shoving matches, that sort of thing. As they prepare to engage in this final run, you'll notice they kind of almost pack up. The Fianna, some of these other get, especially the tail singer herself, begin to kind of bunch together, seemingly isolated by the Shadow Lords and the Silver Fangs. There are others that seem to kind of remove themselves from this. The Stargazers, the Silent Striders, the Glasswalkers, they take off kind of doing their own thing, not gathering with anyone, but the Fianna especially, and even the couple of Furies bunch together. And as the worm foe takes off, they take off immediately after him, not waiting or deferring to the Fangs or the Shadow Lords.
I'll go with them.
As they start to take off, Abby is going to play a recording from her phone that says, and she's playing it as loud as humanly possible. And it says, "I have a message from the get that you've alienated. They send their regards." And then it has Ira's voice saying the very snarky, "Give them my regards."
As you guys take off to and kind of join up with these Fianna and such, you'll give me a. Well, for Eric, this would be a perception alertness. For Abby, I will need a
Perception technology.
yes, or a wits technology, whichever is higher.
Same dice pool.
Okay.
I have one success.
I got nothing.
All right, so Eric, you're caught up running with these fellows,
I'm just oblivious.
but Abby, your tech picks up a couple of sets of footsteps, and you get a notification that there are more running than what you can see.
She is going to come to a dead stop and start looking around, yelling for people to stop.
All right.
I'm just gonna keep
Well,
going.
Everyone seems pretty caught up, and you don't get many responses, but
We are not alone.
Very briefly, you hear or you feel, I should say, a brush next to you. And just for a second, you catch a glimpse of a white, kind of a fox-like being upright. And you see Vano smirk back at you.
She's gonna follow the fox.
All right. As you take off to follow, you find a quickly feel something brush across your hand, and suddenly you can see Connor, Vano, and Air are with you, running running to catch up to the other Fianna and such.
She will continue following them then.
Connor kind of looks at Aaron and says, "Lead us, and we will gather those who have been shamed. As they run the border, we will lead them out into a place where they will be respected and honored."
And Air will take point and try to gather those that have been wronged and stabbed in the back by these people.
And as you run, Eric, you'll suddenly catch a glimpse of Aaron and Abby running with the group as well. And Connor and Vano kind of trail behind.
I'll keep an eye on that, but I have no idea what's going on, so I'll just keep running with the group.
And the group does kind of veer off and begin running the edge of the sept.
I'll follow them. They seem more interesting.
Abby's gonna have music blaring. She can't hear it, but she knows others like it.
Abby's just jamming as she's running.
She can just feel the beat from it.
As you guys get further and further out, the they kind of slow down a little bit. Other group kind of seem to be hunting and stuff, but this group's kind of stuck together. as they slow a little bit, it's almost like their heads clear. They come out of the revel a little bit, and the tail singer kind of turns and looks to the three of you. First to Aaron, then to Abby, and who had kind of joined up late there, and says, well, that was quite the declaration.
One can only take so much abuse.
Who needs merit when you can have favorites?
She chuckles and she says, I don't know why we expect anything else from Silver Fangs. Or Shadow Lords, for that matter.
Well, to back and let them continue to do what they're doing, or we don't take their shit.
I'm still waiting for a Viva la Revolution.
And
Ultimately,
Abby
what
will.
you all decide to do is up to you. But stomp bullied.
Abby howls out a "Viva la Revolution" in French.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Connor kind of quietly comes up and as does Vano, and that's when you notice that he is appears to be a Scandinavian kitsune. In fact, he is a white fox.
Don't see many of them.
Connor looks
Abby?
at.
Abby has a slightly envious look on her face.
Connor says, there is a place for those who do not have a place, and for those who believe in working together regardless of creed or any kind of gestures, or those who are different.
Well, if the prophecies are to be believed, it's the end times. Everyone should be here.
Connor kind of chuckles, and then Vano lets out a big laugh. He says, it's always the end times.
Amen.
Where is our Bill now? I think it is time to celebrate.
The kegs are way back there.
Abby's gonna use Google Maps to find a local bar nearby.
I have a
Can't
bar.
help laughing when he says, "But the kegs are back there." Well, hopefully you can be just as dedicated to another cause as you can be with your kegs.
I work when I have to. But beer's my passion.
We all have our passions.
Oui.
Connor kind of nods and says, I cannot dispute that. But I can tell you that, well, this mockery of a moot may be completed. We have a legitimate gathering yet at the sept that Vano and I call home. One that is not advertised or announced, but known to those who kind gestures around are of the appropriate mentality and seek to cooperate. Those who are looking for a place, a home.
I'll check it out. Got nothing to lose.
Air will kind of glance around at everybody else assembled.
You could be deemed a Ronin and be nothing more to the nation. Unwanted. Some places will even hunt you on sight. It is nothing to lose. We.
Yeah.
Connor chuckles a little bit and he says,
Who else is with us?
there are those plenty of Peru among our sept who are known and recognized by the nation. The guru does not have to call a sept home to be recognized. Those of us who are known to the nation are just known as travelers and wanderers. The nation is not aware of the sept, but it's aware of us.
This gets better and better.
He chuckles and
Air
he
will just
says,
grin.
I also have whiskey and mead.
Well, see, there you go. What else do you need?
The the tail singer looks back and says, I will have to explain, of course, if I am leaving the sept here in the rank, but I can explain that to the nation and to my tribe.
You are leaving to find the stories, we?
And I'm leaving to find answers.
Entonces, ¿cómo te estoy?
Here,
She just kind of nods and says, "Well, that's perhaps true. Certainly a good of an explanation as I've come up with anywhere else."
how many people actually coming with them?
Well, there are.
Get a head count, essentially.
You've got the. There's a total of 3 Fianna Guru, a Get, and 2 Black Furies. And then, of course, they mention that they will have to gather their kinfolk as well.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Keep your kin as far out of their grasp as you can.
You notice the tail singer talking to Vano, and she says they did not even know there were fox folk in Finland, much less a Finnish descended one here.
This place is full of surprises, isn't it?
Definitely not what I thought was going to happen.
I told you we are here to rock the boat. So don't rock the boat, baby.
Hey, I'm just along for the ride.
Well, hope you're ready.
Connor says, "Well, let's make this easy. I planned ahead." And she leads off a little ways. A couple of SUVs pull up, like Land Rovers, and he gestures.
Abby's gonna
Come with
climb in
me
the
if you
front.
want to live.
Connor says, "Well, come with me if you want to party."
You had me at party.
Except is sometimes casual. And while we recognize that sometimes we have to handle business, there's also a time when business must wait and socializing is in our best interest.
Does want to make sure that everybody gets what they need to get before getting in and going, if that's their plan.
How far's the ride?
Connor says probably not not much more than half an hour.
Oh, that's not
Very,
bad.
very quiet set. We like it that way.
Wait, how do you party and be quiet? I don't get it.
They didn't say it was quiet all the time.
He
Fair enough.
chuckles and says, "Have a totem that believes in discretion."
Discretion is the better part of valor.
Abby is gonna hack into the sound systems of all the vehicles right here.
Okay.
Plug and play. With 7 successes.
Jesus.
And she's gonna be blasting electronica in all of them. With a very deep, bassy sound to it.
Ooh. Air will look to the others that have gathered, and you said you wanted to gather your kin. I would do while everyone is occupied.
And you see many of them have already been on their phone doing so.
Air is not going to get in until everybody is in. To the vehicles, by the way. She's waiting for everybody.
And she is gonna keep the volume on all of the vehicles all the way up. She wants to make sure she can feel it whether she's in the vehicle or not.
I'll get a hold of Francis and tell him to grab one of the special kegs, and I'll tell him where to meet me with it.
All right. Yeah. As you guys arrive, the find yourself, excuse me, almost directly off of the main freeway. You're in a park that's got kind of some winding waterways and ponds, and Connor leads you on some trails out to one of these sort of island-like land masses within the rivers. And as you pass over one of the bridges, you kind of feel a little bit of a shudder. Yeah. Turns, and when you were on the far side of the bridge, it looked like just kind of a wooded island. But as you got across the bridge onto it, you find it's The paths on the island twist and weave and lead to a number of different small clearings. He turns and he says, "Welcome to our sept."
How thick is the gauntlet?
It's nearly non-existent.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I'm probably getting bombarded with spirits.
As you look, a
This could be
lean,
for some.
older gentleman, uh, kind of looks to be of Eastern descent, walks out, and he's got walking with a cane. He looks at you and says, "Welcome." He nods and kind of gives almost a slight bow to Connor and Reno. And he says, "I see you have gathered some more of those who seek peace and answers."
I'll introduce myself. Hi, I'm Colin. Nice to meet you.
Abby glances down to her phone, realizing introductions are being made. She looks up and says, "Bonjour, I am habitudo las horaires barbaches in the moon, oui."
Air will step forward. I am Air Sigurdsson.
Sigurdsson. Why does that name sound familiar?
She kind of flashes him a look.
Because she introduced herself to you an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
And she kind of looks to everybody else that's with them so they can make their introductions, and waits.
And as the others kind of go around and introduce themselves, you at least kind of know who everyone is to some degree. That came with you. You may not know them
Right.
all well, but you know who they are. And of course, Connor and Reno introduce themselves to the rest. And then this older man uh, leans on his cane and he says, "I am Yoshi. Welcome." And he turns and he says, "It is good to have more to Very small sept. We need more new folk.
More is usually better than less.
Abby gets a grumpy look at that and says something in French.
Yeah,
That's
turns.
usually.
As he turns, he leads you guys kind of deeper to the center of this island, and he says, "We are a different place. Many different.
Different how?
Yeah. Gets this center, and he says, we welcome many from many places. I learned in my time in the Far East how those grew could work with those who are not. I then traveled other places and saw how those of different backgrounds, creeds, and just even different breeds and origins could cooperate, could grow strong. And I brought that here. I found this place, this cairn, and discovered that a spirit that I knew well in the Far East had even a small presence here.
Must be some spirit.
Well, the key is that there are different spirits. But there are also many spirits that are the same and just known by different names.
Makes
And
sense.
what?
I am from where I am from in the east. We know him as Siryu, and he is an ancient sea dragon.
Does that ring a bell with me at all?
The idea of a dragon.
Well, the sea dragon has places in many
That's old
different.
Bessie, the Loch Ness Monster.
Roll some intelligent spirit lore to try to get a better grasp on this.
Fair enough.
What's the diff?
7.
7? Okay. Oh my god. I had one success. Oh no, I had no successes. It's a double botch.
Woohoo! Oh, you know what's going on, all right.
Eric looks very confused. What's a dragon?
I thought I was the oblivious one. Stop taking my shtick.
He kind of looks and says, well, in Eastern Europe and Russia, they have the storm dragon Typhon, who is closely related, but not the same. Here we speak of water serpents. You among the Get know of the Jormungandr, the serpent of destruction, an avatar of
Indeed.
the worm. But there is also other serpents. There's, even in your own culture, Nidog. Is a serpent which lives in the deeps beneath the wild tree. In Irish mythology, they speak of dragons in the lakes. How many sailors speak of dragons or serpents beneath their boats? But more importantly, while he was not well known here, his power was excellent and appropriate. Thus did we help him establish his cairn and the sept around it. Because Siriu is known for recovering lost secrets, but also for keeping secrets. Master of riddles and enigmas.
I do love a good puzzle.
He gestures and he says, well then, certainly come and be welcome to the of the riddling waters.
So I was told there would be alcohol.
One-tracked mind.
He chuckles and says, there are many varieties. We do tend to be a festive sort as well. Part
Well,
of
what better? I was gonna say, what better way to get to know each other than to get drunk? That's how the best stories are made.
Part of forming bonds and relationships is also to socialize, to gather. If the only time you come together is if you need something or when you need each other for something, you're not developing a partnership or a relationship. Yeah, leads you down, and there's a place where there's a number of uh, bonfires that are going. Between the bonfires, you can see kinfolk and different shifters, all of them with food and drink.
Now we're talking.
There's quite a few of them gather and revel. Connor says, "This is how our moot goes here. Everyone is welcome. It is a celebration and an empowerment. The tale singer tells stories, riddles,
Well, everyone seems to be happy here, unlike the other place. That's always a good sign.
I wouldn't say everyone there is unhappy. Those who haven't
Well,
been on.
unhappy is the wrong choice of words. Less divided.
Yes. That's a better phrase.
he kind of gestures and says, there will come a time when we need to put an end to the revelry because there's always business and work to do as well. But today we celebrate. You have new friends, a new gathering. Connor shows you around and he says, "We live simply on this island. For those of us who do live here. If that's what you want, but," he gestures across and he says, "Just over the street there, we've got a number of row houses."
How do you keep the humans away?
He shrugs and he says, "Well, from the row houses, it's not hard. We own the complex. We put up a gate. Started a HOA.
Damn HOAs.
See, they're not so bad when you are the HOA.
Yeah, tell that to the other sept.
As far as keeping them away from here, well, Sunyu does that quite well. It's not a riddler for nothing."
So what's like the mix of the crowd as far as like Garu and other shifters and kinfolk?
It's somewhat hard to tell. Everyone's staying in there for the most part in Hamid, but I definitely get the impression that it's probably a 50-50 blend between Guru and other shifters as far as, kinfolk and changing breeds.
Okay.
Okay.
Abby's gonna stay close to the fox folk, watching them.
I'll just start going around and making small talk with folks.
Yeah.
All right.
So you said I'm familiar with some of these people. One of the game.
Say that again, you cut out at the end.
Oh, you said that I was familiar with some of the people that came. Which of the get came? She said there was one.
No, there's a couple.
Oh, there's a couple. Okay.
Yeah, so the tail singer, who is yet a Fenris, that's Krista, came with you.
Okay.
A Black Fury, who you kind of know by sight, but you don't really know personally, but you'd seen her around, came with. And then, of course, Finn, the rights master from the old sept, as
The
well as,
Fianna?
correct, and the Lupus Fianna, who was the keeper of the land.
Quite the
So
coup.
they lost some of their people, like some of their actual chins. And she's just gonna kind of look at him and be like, "Well, what do you think?"
Krista looks at you and kind of looks at the other ones and says, "It's better than listening to super masculine assert my patriarchy Silverfang."
Agreed. Some of those Shadow Lords aren't any better.
And
She kind of curls her lip as she says that out loud.
one of the Connor comes up and he says, "Well, we do have a couple Shadow Lords here, but most of them tend to be from our eastern bloodline."
And that's why I was very specific to say some, because I know not all of them do the things these have done. The unfortunate part is, is it any particular?
Krista says, "Well, I suggest first and foremost that we settle ourselves in, get our kin and such comfortable, work out our living arrangements, get ourselves settled and sorted.
Indeed.
Is there anything specific that you three need to handle?"
Introduce myself to the right master if I can find him.
Yeah, he
Hell
actually,
yeah.
he actually
Yeah.
approaches and says, "I appreciate you guys stepping in.
I'm not one for politics. I just like to do my job.
There's something
Unfortunately,
to be said for that.
stepped into a hot spot for politics in this city.
Yep. Didn't know what I was getting myself into when I moved here.
Yeah. Kind of says, well, it's a certainly a different situation, but this kind of offers us a better hope than previous.
That's exactly what it seems like from here.
Indeed, it does. However, the other situation isn't going to get better if it's just let to continue.
That's true as well. We must be prepared to tackle it. This gives us tools to.
Correct. I'm not saying I'm not celebrations and not knowing, but with time, patience, preparation, it should be dealt with.
But that is a valid point. Will not be
I highly want to
neglected.
forget and just stuff.
He nods and says, well, first I suggest we get to know those we're living with.
Indeed.
He turns and says, well, if you need help moving anything, I'm going to check out their apartments.
Question is, how far away is the Sept from my bar?
It's probably a little ways. Not horrible, but
Yeah, that'll be tough.
wouldn't be more than half an hour.
Guess I gotta get a car.
Connor says, oh, I usually use Ubers.
Yeah, that can be unreliable.
Well, you do know that others for a jaunt might even be faster yet.
That's true.
No moon bridge required.
Touche.
Though you may have to take some precautions, obviously, as I assume your bar is in the city.
Yeah.
I suppose that
Well,
all depends on its location as to what kind of precautions you may need to take, but
I'll have to figure it out.
is it silly? You own the entire building that the bar is in? Like, is there an upstairs?
Yes, that's where I live.
Well, hey, perfect! You can just go in there. You don't ever have to really worry about leaving the Umbra until you get to your apartment.
Yeah, the Umbra has its own problems for me sometimes. Not necessarily
Oh?
bad, but for some reason spirits just like to talk to me, and they don't shut up.
Would you say that you're a spirit magnet?
One could say it's not necessarily a bad thing, but
Yeah.
it
It.
definitely doesn't give you time to have a nice relaxing stroll.
No, I can't imagine that it does. But, I understand fully. More than you might think. Out of character, I have the same merit.
God, us two walking around together must be awesome. All the spirits in a 10-mile radius are like, what the hell's going on over there?
They're a beacon for us.
Let's go bother those guys. They don't look like they're up to anything. They're not busy.
So see, perhaps we can be of assistance to one another.
Yeah.
Maybe if we stick together and travel together, I might be able to take some of the pressure off of you and vice versa when needed.
We can take turns. Hey, bother me. Leave her alone for a minute. That could work.
You
It's a viable
guys
plan.
have a nice little black. So hungry.
Oh boy.
We just might be able to help each other out. Seriously.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Could definitely work.
And beyond that, is there any other weirdnesses we should know about?
Uh, Not really. I have a family member that likes to get himself into trouble, but I try to keep him busy with the bar. Other than that, I like to just make my beer, work with the
Oh.
wood, and just kind of hang out, stay out of trouble.
Well, I try to stay out of trouble as well, though we're gonna run together. There might be something you guys want to know. Her
Uh-oh.
eyes kind of, she looks at Abby too.
Abby's busy
I
staring at her phone.
I pissed off a pack of black spiral dancers.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Um, um,
And they know
well,
where you are?
I'll start. I don't know if they know who I am, but let me put it this way: somebody who had been it's kind of touchy because it kind of touches on my first change. But long of the short of it is, One of their buddies decided to mess with me, and it turns out that I knew who they were. He tried to attack me, but I wound up taking his head. He was kind of a infiltrator to the Sept there. Of course, they
Oh,
wouldn't
boy.
acknowledge that I took out an enemy for them. But they did deed me or rends her enemy's skulls. So yeah, his pack kind of witnessed me ripping his head off, and now they have it out for me.
Oh, so we're just guilty by association.
I'm not sure if the pack has grown or anything, but I know that they got it out through me. I hope they haven't
Fair
grown.
enough. At least you know what's coming.
Well, hopefully. Thankfully,
Yeah.
war spirits tend to like me best. So
Well,
We
that
still
can be a
have
good thing.
We still have a meeting back on the other sept
yes, we do.
with Monsieur Holmes.
Yes, and that is very important as well.
Mm.
We'll have to be very careful slipping back there, though we did tell him a date and a time and a place. So perhaps.
Do you know how to make the calling for the spirits to make him come to you?
That's easy. You can just ask them.
Perhaps. But there's a ritual, see. And I know this. Which perhaps it might be safer for us all to summon him to me instead of going
Back there, where we
there.
might be in trouble?
Indeed.
Yeah, never learned how to call them, but they usually come to me.
Well, this can be handy if you're looking for a very... summoning them is handy in the instance of, like, for example, what we're talking about. We're looking for a very specific spirit. Or it's usually, from what I've understood, and from my experience, it's the smaller spirits that tend to hang around. But this is handy, an example for maybe calling an incarna or a totem spirit or other spirits you know by name.
I understand. I go about it the long way.
Oh,
Work your way up the chain and ask. Trade favors.
well, you do know that owing favor is problematic, yes?
Well, that's why you trade. You don't owe.
Do you ever feel like learning?
Yes,
I'd be more than happy to share the information.
I'd be more than happy to learn. Do you know how to bind spirits?
I do.
How about awaken spirits?
Now that would be handy.
Well, then perhaps we can trade.
Yes.
I'll teach you how to awaken, you teach me how to summon. Equal deal.
Definitely. I see this relationship working out well.
As
She
do I.
chuckles. And she she gives Abby a pat on the back too, like, hey.
Abby will give a smile and a nod and kind of just wander off, mingle among these new people.
We start talking shop. Abby's like, I'm out.
She's like, yep, I'm out. Nope. None of
Not my
this.
scene. God damn it! Where's my buddy with that keg of beer I ordered? Should have been here by now.
Yeah, he should have brought you your beer.
Well, about that time, you see that Connor has already tapped your keg.
Oh, that sly bastard.
Air actually does laugh and she claps her hands like, yes. I suppose if we're going to get some, we should probably go now.
I just stare at him with challenge in my eyes and say, what do you think?
Are you challenging him to a drinking contest? And Air intentionally says that really loudly.
Wouldn't be a challenge for me.
Oh, she looks at Connor. Did you hear that? He doesn't think you can hold your liquor.
He just shrugs and says, I don't need to, I'm holding his.
Ooh.
I drink to recreationally and to enjoy myself.
Well, it's here for the guests, so drink up.
He says, well, there's plenty of plenty of options here as well. We share around, so.
But a drinking contest does sound like fun. Anyone?
Didn't we discuss one of those the last time we met?
I don't know. I wouldn't have remembered it.
Well, Erica is looking at Connor when she says that.
He says, quite possibly.
Well, I'm certainly not one to back down from a challenge. She looks back over at Colin.
Nothing like a friendly competition.
Right. What are the terms?
Connor just kind of shrugs and says, "That's up to you. I just drink for fun. Turn it into a competition, and it's too easy for everything to become a competition."
No, you just can't do it all the time.
It's a special occasion. It's Monday.
Oh boy. Monday.
Any day that ends in a Y. Gotta celebrate it.
So what, first one to pass out loses?
Yes, I guess we do need something at stake.
Hmm. But what does the winner get?
Yeah, that's the
Other than
problem.
the cred. Other than the cred.
Street cred is good.
It is. It is.
No shifting, no gifts.
That's fair. No shifting, no gifts. She seems to be pondering. No shifting, no gifts. I don't think there's anything else that we should really need to worry about.
No. I think that should have it covered. I mean, shifting wouldn't help you with this stuff anyway, but
That's true.
oh boy.
Well, let's see how we can do this.
What is it, just stamina?
I believe so. I think there's actually rules for it in the book, but I don't know if John wants to go by those. There's
Let's see if we
rules
can
for
find.
drinking in the book. I don't know about a drinking contest.
Let's take a look for alcohol.
Where
472.
472?
Yeah.
How does it work that I'm 10 pages after that?
All right, it says poison and drugs. Hold on. Here we go.
There is a whole section on actual drinking, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Index, why is that saying merits and flaws for my book? Let's see. Oh, no. It might be under feats. Let's see. That's kinfolk character creation. Maybe it's under story elements. You know.
I mean, I think you soak it like.
Yeah, I know it's a stamina, but I can't remember what exactly. Dramatic systems. Feats of strength. Physical feats. Let's see. There's climbing, long running, jumping. Sensing. Shadows. Let's see. Really no drinking. No, there's one in here.
Well, I tried alcohol, it didn't really come up, and now I'm trying toxin.
Maybe it's
Next
under
will be poison
or drama. Packing. I'll look under drama.
Here's poison and drugs.
I know I'm in the right. It's a matter of where that, but mental states, frenzy, draw, delirium.
Yeah, it just says subtract 1 from dexterity and intelligence dice pools for every 2 drinks worth of alcohol. Reduce the penalty by 1 for every hour that passes after you stop drinking.
Okay.
What says?
So yeah, it's essentially just the stamina roll then.
Yeah.
Do this. Have us
I guess it'd be an extended roll. And as you take
rolls.
effectively bashing damage, you would pass out when you run out.
Right.
I'm guessing.
I have no idea. John, did you fall asleep?
Um,
Oh. Yeah, I mean,
I want to look up stamina. Might have some sort of extended stamina action. Like long running.
all right.
See, it's like to help a character run longer, you roll stamina, athletics, diff 4 for each hour of running. If that roll fails, the werewolf suffers 1 health level of lethal, so on and so forth. If you fail 2 consecutive rolls, you have to spend rage or willpower to keep going, and it increases by 2 on the next roll. It can't be healed until they stop running and decides to rest.
All right.
I guess you can convert that over to some sort of alcohol, something along those lines.
That's what I was like, what the heck? Maybe I saw it in the Fiona book. I have no idea. All I know is I saw
I mean, I know it exists. I'm
whole
not really sure about the
section.
20th edition.
Yeah. I looked at everything from actions all the way down to dramatic systems. You'd think it would be in one of those,
Yeah, I was looking at dramatic systems, the physical feats.
right? I went all through those.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, because all it says is alcohol, subtract 1 dex. Yeah, where you found it.
Yeah, that's all it says. I mean, I would say just use this long running, basically. Only instead of athletics, just have it be straight stam. Maybe.
Right.
aha.
I don't know. To jump in that.
All right.
Did you find? You found it. I know that
Oh,
sound.
I went to the mage book
Oh,
where it spells out alcohol as a toxin.
right.
So what it is that toxins can't be soaked, but you roll a stamina roll, and that roll determines whether you take damage from it or not. Damage equals toxin rating. So for alcohol, it's a difficulty of 6, toxin rating of 1, you take 1 bludgeoning, or 1 bashing, sorry. If you get, obviously, up to 7 bashing, you're unconscious.
Right. And werewolves get the thing for every 2 drinks. You roll it.
I don't think it really affects you at all, according to this. Oh, no, that's resist toxin. Never mind.
Yeah,
Gotta
that's
turn that
resist
off.
toxin. Yep. You said no gifts.
Well, yeah, because you can't get into a drinking contest with Fiona and expect them not to have resist toxin.
Trust me, I know. I had a Fiona that won many of them because people forgot to say no gifts during the drinking contest.
It's not much of a contest at that point.
I know.
The good news is my stamina's 2, so... Oh, boy. Now, doesn't an awakening increase the
Mine's a
potency?
3. have
Oh,
to
I can pull up
imagine.
that gift. That's easy.
It's a ritual. Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
it specifies alcohol, but I think in the Mage book, doesn't it talk about awakened booze?
I don't know if it does or not.
I would have to imagine that, yeah, the
I
difficulty
know
would go up.
they do talk about. Awakened substances. Adds 1 level to the substance's effects.
Okay.
So it's 2 bashing instead of 1.
Correct.
And it still remains the standard diff for
Yes.
drinking on stamina. Okay. Let's get ready to roll this.
Oh boy. So 2d10 F6.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Don't forget the
Let's do it.
hashtag of the before the 2.
Yeah, let me copy. I need to copy and paste this so I don't have to type it out all the time.
All right, here we go. We both have 1 success.
Alright, so we're tied so far. Why? Oh. Hold on, I didn't get the hashtag on my copy. What the hell happened?
Because failing is the only way something happens, correct?
Right.
All right, so we
that'll
both have
happen.
drank 2 drinks according to the werewolf book. And we're even. Then we lose dice too, correct?
Well, you would once you start
Fail.
taking bashing damage because you reduce your dice pools.
Yep.
All right.
Oh boy.
Second roll, I got 2.
Second roll here. Nothing. No botch, but nothing.
So you take 2 bashing.
Right. Okay. And that. Okay, it subtracts from my dex and intelligence dice pools.
So I guess if you hit 0, you're out.
But all right, I need to look at a sheet here so I know how many health levels I'm at.
Well, you'd be at
Okay,
hurt, so it's -1.
Yep, so I don't think those affect stamina though.
No, it shouldn't. It should just affect your dex and your in. So
other dice rolls, yep.
look
If
at
I
your.
have to use them. Yeah, I'll just use this sheet because I see the sheet and I can see my damage. Yep, so I guess.
I mean, I guess if one of your stats goes down to 0, you're out.
That would make sense.
All right.
Well, if your intelligence drops to 0, your brain is non-functioning.
Exactly.
If your dexterity drops to 0, you literally cannot
hold the
get
cup
the drink to your face.
Right?
Yeah.
You know.
So there you go. So I guess
So I've
for me, if
lost
I fail 2, I'm done.
Let's see
All
how
right.
many I have to fail.
Let's go for round
My
3.
dex, I have 3, and my intelligence is 3.
Oh, you got the edge on me. I have 3 int, but only 2 dex.
All right. Well, I'm down 1 die on them, so I have 2 more at max.
Yep. All right. Here we go. Dice don't fail me now. Oh, 0. Fuck.
Oh no!
A botch. I think you're done.
No, I had 1 success.
Oh, okay.
This doesn't do that. That's why I always look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Because a botch would mean I didn't have any 6s. And this doesn't do well with those. Discord
right.
at least lets you. So I technically have no successes.
Yeah. So you failed twice and I failed once. I think if either one of us fails again, we're both out.
Right? This
Yeah.
is the final countdown.
Right. Next failure is the loser.
Yeah. Unless we both fail, then we both lose.
We both pass out and someone has
Here
to
we
go
go.
pass away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's just drawing dicks on our faces or something.
Right?
Oh, I got 1 success.
2! We got this.
All right. Next
All
round.
right. So how many rounds do we make it now? Let's see.
Well, that's what, 8 drinks so far?
Yep, 8 drinks. We're 8 drinks in.
All right, here's 10. Oh no, I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
Drank me under the table.
With 3 successes on that one. I was like, this isn't happening.
That's phenomenal.
So, the Fiona zonks out.
Yep. That's the stuff.
And,
I assume at that point, Air wanders off to find some place to sleep.
well, she'll make sure that he finds that he's in a place to sleep, too. Is there
Once I
anyone
get
around
coherent-
from this sept?
What's that?
Like, is there anyone, like, right in the vicinity that's from this sept?
Yeah, there's a couple people around.
She's going to approach someone and be like, so, he can't handle his liquor. Where should I put him?
Yeah, and one of them just says, well, there's a couple of crash beds over, and they got a tent set up for exactly that.
All right.
Good news is,
I'm going to assume
once
that
I get
Air is
coherent-
smaller than him and Hamid. If you get coherent,
I
what
just turn
Air is
on
going to
resist
do-
tox and then I'll be good to go. So I'll just lay there
Once
for
you're
an hour or two.
coherent. Well, what I was going to say was Air was going to shift, sling him over her shoulder, and put him in a crash pad.
You could just leave me there for an hour or two. I'll be fine.
But Air is responsible.
Aw.
As
I gotta get
amusing
more.
as it would be to her for everyone to see you passed out and losing a drinking contest to a get, she's,
Yeah, I just got kicked out of my tribe.
out of your tribe. Oh, you didn't. They're gonna make fun of you.
That just
though.
happened. I'm sure
Yeah,
they will.
so I am gonna. I'm just gonna shift to Krynos and carry him. So my strength is 2 and Hamid, and that's probably not enough to carry you or sling you over his shoulder.
Not that big. You could probably do like a fireman's carry, like a drag. My feet are dragging on the floor, or my head. You pick.
Shift
Go
to
every
Krynos
rock.
and sling him over his shoulder. I don't know if John wants me to roll a strength there, but
No, that's fine.
and I'll bring him to one of the crash pads. And then Air is going to go find a spot to zonk the F out, too. Maybe, well, after hanging out with people for a bit longer, but we'll say eventually she goes to sleep.
All right. So you guys call it a night.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, we will wrap up there with our intrepid guru getting to know this new and seemingly more welcome sept with a much more diverse group of residents, and a number of them wrapping up after a drinking game. This has been another episode of Nightfall in Amsterdam. Thank you, players, for playing, and watchers for watching.
Bravo, bravo. Actually gonna
You know